Hello and welcome back to Biz Inbox. I'm Em Burnham and this is your safe space for all of your career questions and dilemmas where we answer it and we don't judge.
Much.
A little bit. Tiny bit.
And Sarah Davidson here, bringing my lawyer turned entrepreneur perspective to help you navigate whatever's landed in your work life this week. And I'm kidding. We listen, we don't judge.
We listen and we don't
We listen
judge.
and we don't judge. And we try to solve.
We try to solve. And same rules as always. If you want to be completely anonymous when you submit your dilemmas, you of course can do so. Your secret stays safe with us. We're just here to make your life a little bit better.
100%. And today we are diving into the art of networking without sounding desperate, which is truly a fine art, because we've all been there trying to make small talk over coffee while secretly hoping for some career magic. Plus, we're tackling how to diplomatically tell colleagues to handle their own mess when they try to dump their poor planning on your plate. Again, very common scenario. But first, Em, you've got a question about a workplace trend that's been blowing up your feed, and it's one that's got entire generations rethinking what career success actually looks like.
Conscious unbossing trend is something that I feel like I personally started and someone else took credit for.
We've also spoken about
the
stealing of credit.
I hate that I haven't made up this term on my own. Like,
Go back and listen to the last ep, babe.
We missed out on that. But it's basically young people who are actually opting out from any leadership positions, whether it's like a promotion or like a new career. They're just saying, no, I just want to stay where I am right now. Or even like kind of what we talked about with the mini retirements, actually just leaving, going away, coming back, just doing a job for money rather than developing a whole career plan. So I want to know, if someone does decide to turn down a promotion, like especially if it's a promotion that's going up the ladder where you have to manage people, how can they still appear driven and ambitious to their employer without looking like they lack motivation or career goals?
This is an incredible question. And I think it is a sign that
I love how this is my own dilemma that I'm just bringing to you.
Yeah, like it's anonymous, but actually it's Em Burnham who submitted. You say it's a safe space. I 100% know this was you. I feel like, firstly, we overlabel everything in this day and age. So I was a little bit triggered when I saw conscious unbossing because I was like, just
say you don't want to work.
Yes, God, just say lazy girl. It's fine. It's all encompassing. But I do think it's symptomatic of a really positive move away from probably the last decade of hustle culture, which is amazing. I think it's really great that we're encouraging people to work hard, but I think to the extent of incredible burnout, mental illness or struggles with mental health, I think we've probably pushed the gold digger hustle culture thing so hard that it is good that people are taking a little bit more control back. And also my whole podcast, Seize the A, focuses on this exact dilemma of distinguishing the difference between success and happiness and your work identity and your life fulfillment and how they can be very different. And I actually think it's a power move to decide you don't want a promotion when all of the world is telling you that upwards is best and that progress is the only reason. It's like the only valuable thing in your career is to go further. I actually had a zookeeper on the show once, and she had specifically resisted every single offer of a promotion, like specific offers, pay rises, title changes and everything, because she's like, the higher up you get in a zoo, the less time you spend with animals. And my passion is working with animals. So why would I move away from a role where my role fundamentally changes? When my happiness, I know what my happiness is day to day. And I was like, in a world that thinks that success is everything and that promotions are everything and money is everything, that is a true power move. So I love the idea that some people are just like, I'm happy here. Why would I want more?
You can still get promoted in ways that aren't just managing other people and in those leadership positions, because I do think that anyone can be a manager, but not everyone can be a leader. And to have a good manager, you need to be a leader. And there are still so many people, even in my generation, who I'm like, you would be an amazing manager. And I don't want people in my generation to think that managing is like a whole other really hard, boring job. It's not. Like, some people are so cut out for it, and we need good managers. Just because your friends choose a different life path like me doesn't mean that you have to either. Like, some people actually thrive going up the ladder. So I don't want to put anyone off of those management skills. But also, I feel like it is a place of privilege to speak about how I can turn down promotions without getting more money and like saying that you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like workplaces do need to adjust in different types of skill sets, and they need to adjust in ways where you can empower someone to continue working and like upskilling themselves without having to manage other people. And so many workplaces do that really well. Like my role is a new role here at Mummy as associate editor, and I don't manage people, but I'm still able to like see the next level. I'm still able to thrive for that and like work my way to that and also contribute to the company as a whole. And I feel like we need to see more companies kind of abolish that one linear way of thinking on how to make people develop. And I feel like now if you're young and you're looking for new jobs, there are so many opportunities and different roles you can have that isn't always just chasing that ladder.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's so important to be able to show that you can have career goals even if they're not upwards in the traditional sense. And I think, you know, the original question was like, how do you show that you're driven and ambitious? And that's definitely in the way you communicate what your goals are. Like, I think it is the reason why the Zookeeper did so well is because every time she said no, she explained why. She was like, my contact with the animals is my prime goal. It's my motivation. It's my drive. It's what I want to learn to do better and better and better at this, but I don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
Similarly, I think if you're like, the subject matter of my work is so important, managing people is a distraction from that for me. I don't think I would be good at that or enjoy it. How can a manager not appreciate that from you?
Yeah.
How can they not appreciate that you're explaining why? And I think this is where the big differentiation is. If you're consciously unbossing just because you don't want to work hard, I don't love that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's not because you're happy where you are, and that's not because you've found what you love. That's just because you don't want to work hard. And I think that is kind of a problem. Not a problem, but that is something that's happening a lot in the younger generations of just shying away from hard work generally.
Especially if that like frame of mind is affecting other people's workload.
Yeah.
Like your colleagues have to like end up doing your work
Yeah,
for
because
you.
you're just checking out. But I think if you're consciously unbossing because you have found what you love, in that case, I think it's really possible to show you still have goals. They're just not the goals that other people might have.
Exactly. Okay, our next question is an anonymous question that I think all of us can relate to because it's all about small talk.
Oof, we love.
So good. So it says, what are good questions to ask during networking coffee chats and show genuine interest without sounding desperate or transactional? Oh, this is so sweet. I want to build authentic professional relationships, but I'm never sure how to steer conversations beyond the small talk. What actually makes these meetings valuable for both people?
That is such a hard one.
You've done a lot of networking.
Yeah. And I think you definitely have to start with small talk.
Yeah.
Like you do have to kind of get into the conversation and break the ice and talk about the weather and talk about your work stuff. Like I feel like there is a role for those really annoying transactional questions at the beginning, and you do just have to tolerate that networking is really awkward. Until you build rapport, it's always awkward. So you just got to lean into that.
You have to lean in. And I feel like we've come a way where like so many people are so confident in saying things like, oh, I hate small talk. Like I hate it. Without realizing that you need small talk.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna come up straight to you and be like,
how was your period?
Yeah, how was your period?
Yeah,
oh my God.
You look luteal right now. How's that going for you?
Which I mean, we both have done that to each other. After knowing each other for 5 minutes.
Yeah. But in some situations, skip the small talk, 100%.
But I feel like if you're at a big networking, like coffee thing where you're both aware that this is a networking thing, you have to kind of like ease into it because you both know you want a certain outcome out of this conversation. And the outcome you get out of a networking conversation is, how is this going to both benefit both of our careers, which is so different to other types of like conversations, like conversations you have with your friends, conversations you have over a date. When it is kind of like the element is transactional, trying not to sound transactional while doing it is very hard.
Yeah. And I also think the more you're overthinking, how do I avoid the small talk that I hate, the more transactional you sound or desperate you sound because you're like scrambling for questions. Yeah. But one of the things I love asking people is just, what's one of the most interesting things you've done recently? Or what's one of the coolest things you've done outside of work that you loved? Because getting people talking about something they're passionate about, and this is where like I come back to my podcast all the time, my favorite thing in the world is listening to other people talk about their favorite thing in the world, because you look different when you're excited about what you're talking about.
Oh, what are you excited about right now?
Yeah, like asking
love that.
someone that, because it won't be about work. It won't be necessarily about something that could benefit both of you in the moment, but it'll help you get to know each other. It relaxes them. It takes the pressure off you because they'll suddenly have this influx of stuff to start talking about. Like, is it a travel experience they had? Where did you go recently? Is it their dog? Is it their hobby? But that breaks ice in a really nice way.
Yeah.
And you learn something about them that then I feel like often the most productive networking relationships are one where you found out you go for the same football team, or you have the same foreign language, or you both have the same dog. Like, that's where you run into them again and you go, you're the golden retriever guy,
Oh my
or like,
God,
you're the
I love
whatever.
that.
It's not because you had great work chat. It's because you found out other stuff about each other. And then that's your point of connection for the next time. So just ask them, what are you excited about right now?
I love that. My favorite question to ask if you're networking with someone within your company is, so who do you hate here?
Nothing bonds people like mutual hate.
And it's like the first question right off the bat, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, so
that
alarmed.
is a good one.
It's so good because it breaks everyone down. They just either like laugh hysterically or they're like, oh yeah, let's get into it.
Plus, I think it reveals a lot about you. It's like, she's cool. She's interesting.
Yeah. And then you don't say. So now you just have information on them.
Yeah.
And you just keep
you'll never
collecting all
forget
the
that
people.
question either. What is pissing you off today? Yeah, I love that.
So good.
Ooh, good one.
Okay. Our final question. We got this on Instagram from Leah, and
It
she
is such a
says,
good one.
it's such a good one. How do you professionally say, that sounds like a you problem, when colleagues try to dump their responsibilities on you? And what about, why didn't you just ask me this sooner, when someone creates urgency from their poor planning? I need diplomatic ways to set boundaries.
Okay, so
Leah, I feel like we're well past diplomatic.
this is amazing. I think that we actually need a Biz by Mamma Mia translation guide.
I
like,
love
you know, those
that.
like basic phrases that you need when you go to a new country and it's like, hello, goodbye, where's the toilet, like what's on the menu, blah blah blah. I feel like we need a list of common work phrases. Like, that sounds like a you problem. Absolutely hell no. Like, and then the translation of like the polite way to say it. That's really difficult.
It is really difficult.
But I think there are really diplomatic ways to say it. I think it's all about the phrasing.
Oh, this also comes down to like having the confidence to actually say something that you don't want to say. I have had people who have brought me, not their problems, but have tried to like literally like what's happening to Leah, like dump their work on me. And then what I do is I go back to them and be like, hey, so I found if you do these steps, it works out much quicker and easier.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives the work back to them to be like, I know what you're trying to do.
But I've helped you.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way. Or even something like, I mean, obviously that sounds like a you problem. It's never going to be the right wording to get the result that you want.
I have definitely said exactly that to someone in the workplace.
Like an exit copy paste.
Yeah.
But I think you could say, look, at the moment I don't actually have the capacity to work on this for you, but I would, I'd be happy to help you, direct you to here, or like you said, like give them some tips. And definitely saying, why didn't you ask me about this sooner, is probably not going to get you the response that you want. But you could say in a much more gentle way, I wish I'd known earlier because I would have definitely been happy to help you. At this point, I'm busy working on this, so I actually don't have time, but why don't you ask blah, or why don't you have a look at this? I think there are gentle ways to make a point of like, if you had asked me last week, I would have been able to help you. And you know they're going to read between the lines and be like, yeah, you're saying 100%. I told you so, you should have done this earlier.
I also like let's put a meeting in to discuss this further, because that's when you know whether they just like want to get rid of this task for you to do it. But if you give them more work to put a meeting in and you make them sit there with you while you do it together, more often than not they'll just end up doing it.
Yes, that's a good one. I think it is about saying, you are still saying those two things and you are setting boundaries. You're just doing it in a way that has no aggression. It's very gentle. And there's so much power in wording things in a way that doesn't allow them to come back to you.
Or you can be like, the other day I went networking and this person says I hate you. So
so
I think it has to do with this.
But yeah, I do think that people will often create their own time management issues and then turn to others around them to solve it. And it is really difficult, but you have the power to set the boundaries and do it politely. It's just language.
It's not your job. You can do it.
It's not your job. Yeah. You could just say soz no.
Soz no, that's not
Give
in
that
my
a
JD.
try. Yeah, it's not my JD. Outside of scope.